Strigovia is an upcoming tabletop RPG that wants to put you in the world of a massive, dark, and magical forest, where the magic of the world is dangerous and there's a human kingdom encroaching along its edges. There are mysterious elves and ancient civilizations and changelings lurking in this inconceivably massive forest. So yeah, if you're thinking Symbaroum, I wouldn't be able to blame you. There are some immediate striking similarities between this game and Free League's first RPG. But in this video, I want to highlight some features of Strigovia that fit two criteria. One, they are features that differentiate this game from Symbaroum, and they're all significant. And two, they are things that I genuinely like about this game so far. The creators handed me what is essentially a bunch of beta materials and raw images, but I'm going to use their 42-page quick start as a backdrop here. It's still up in the air what the final version of this quick start will look like, so take all the layout and stuff that you see here with a grain of salt. It should also be noted that no AI was used in the creation of this game's art assets. Everything was made by humans. Okay, let's get started with that list of features that I like about this game so far and which distinguish it from that other Dark Forest RPG. 1. Hags and Seers. These are the female and male equivalents of essentially witches, and they're a really intriguing aspect of the setting because you can never really trust them, but they're also an important source of ritual magic and safe harbor while in the forest. Human settlements tend to consult with hags and seers only when they're desperate, but like a car mechanic in the States, you never know what you're going to get with these people. 2. Salt is gold. The setting is described as somewhere on the eastern fringes of the world in an early medieval period where quality iron was valued over gold. I don't know if there ever was a time and place where quality iron was valued over gold in actual human history, but I can tell you with some confidence after reading through the rules that salt is worth more than gold here. Long story short here is that salt is poisonous to the angry, hateful living forest and its magical inhabitants, and if you want to protect yourself or make a dice check easier when dealing with the forest's magic, then you need salt. Salt is so valuable in the setting that the salt mining operations run by the kingdom are some of the richest and most powerful concerns in the region. Needless to say, you must never enter the forest without at least a bit of salt. 3. Pauperlings. Okay, so the setting has a human kingdom with 7 frontier cities. There's a nomadic collection of tribes called the Nogayat, and they're referred to as a horde that threatens the kingdom's existence. Then there are the Ramen, who are a thinly veiled stand-in for the Roma, formerly referred to as the Gypsies of Eastern Europe. But the Pauperlings are pretty unique. They are a forest society of people who were abandoned as babies and left to die because they were born with a deformity or some imperfection, and they all live in harmony together in the forest and never succumb to the encroaching mark of the forest, which changes most people into sylvan monstrosities. My favorite bit is that occasionally Pauperlings will give birth to a perfectly normal human baby devoid of any mutations or abnormalities, and they will abandon this child as a sort of offering to human settlements. I found that detail strangely beautiful and full of potential storytelling. 4. Gnomes. Okay, by far my favorite tribe or race or peoples in this setting are gnomes, which each live as a family under a human person's home under the floor, and they sort of adopt the family that lives above them, recreating the lives above with little bits and bobs and junk that they scavenge from the house. And when the family is happy, they're happy, and they try to do little things to help the family. But if a household is in turmoil and there is abuse or misery above, the gnomes will try to guide these people back to good, and if they fail in that, they'll start terrorizing the people above and maybe even burn down the house. And all gnomes live by one rule: never let the humans see them. This concept of gnomes is so charming and cute and potentially dark and interesting in its own way that I honestly feel that it could be its own RPG, or at least a 300-page supplement for Strigovia. I am infinitely fascinated with these gnomes. 5. Arbonautics. An Arbonaut in this setting is anyone who is well versed in traveling the vast, deadly, unnamed forest of the region. The general region is called Strigovia, by the way. I should have led with that. And the human kingdom is much larger and centralized far away from Strigovia, but it is only this forest and its immediate surrounding lands that the setting is concerned with. But yeah, in order to traverse the forest, you have to follow all kinds of hard and fast rules. And these are rules that might be hard for a stalwart servant of the kingdom to follow. 1. You can't wear your city clothes in the forest. You need to use more natural materials that sort of blend in with the surroundings. 2. You have to cover your face in some way. The forest is a living entity that wants nothing more than to identify you and basically assimilate you. You do not want it knowing your face. 3. You can't bring metal into the forest. It and all of its inhabitants hate metal, and you will make yourself a target if you break that rule. Weapons need to be crafted from wood, antler, or bone. And 4, maybe most importantly, you need to use a fake name and don't get tricked into ever saying your real name. Once you do that, the forest can start its magical assimilation of your body and turn you into a creature that may never be able to go home again. 6. The dice mechanics. Strigovia uses a very unique D12 dice pool system, where essentially the GM is asked to call for a roll only in the most important moments. Because every time you roll on one of your 8 aspects, your stat for that aspect temporarily goes down by 1. You actually deplete your dice pools every time you use them, so you have to pick your battles cautiously and strategically. The only way to regain those stat points is to rest, and resting in the forest, if that's where you happen to be, is extremely difficult unless you're in good with a hag or a seer, and that comes with its own set of problems. Furthermore, with every dice check in this game, there's a chance of evoking the general manifestation of the forest or of civilization, and this is naturally a very amorphous narrative concept, but it is a constant reinforcement of the duality found in this setting, and I think it's pretty clever. You're never not thinking about the clash between forest and civilization, if only because your character has a shifting affiliation with one or the other, an affiliation which will confer a very valuable bonus or detrimental penalty depending on where your character happens to physically find themselves. The final game is shaping up to be over 400 pages, and that will naturally give us more information about all the history and folklore and monsters. I have to admit, I was very skeptical when I first started reading the drafts of this game, but one thing after another convinced me that this isn't really Symbaroum at all. There's a big dark forest and a human kingdom and all that, but this forest is mean. Magic is so costly that it's almost not even worth trying to use, and magic only works in the forest. It literally doesn't exist outside of the forest. But it is in the forest where if you find even one ancient relic, it could set you up for life. So you have to go in there one way or the other. I'm looking forward to reading the final version of this game. Let me know your thoughts about it so far down in the comments. I've also left a link to where you can find the campaign. Remember to like, subscribe, and join the channel. I'll see you in the next one.